Welcome to I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. I'm your host, Mike, and I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. Happy Memorial Day Monday. Glad that y'all kicking it with me on this good Monday. Hope y'all having a good day off. Hope y'all here eating some good food. Whether you be at home, whether you be at somebody else's house, family, cousin, auntie, third, second removed, all that good shit. You get what I'm saying? Um, Want to thank y'all for kicking it with me today, man. You could been do anything else, man, but you're here with me, like Jay Z said. I want to start this off by shouting out my nigga Banks, man. Shout out my dog Banks. This man hit me up last night. I had a tweet last night, and I want to go ahead. I want to go ahead and address this now. Had a tweet last night that said Harlem World greater than sign Illmatic. Now, if you follow me and you know me, everybody knows that I troll Nas discography. That's what I do. I troll Nas. He's not really I don't really acknowledge him personally on my all-time list, personal favorites list, all of that. But he is one of the greatest rappers all time. Illmatic, 100% is one of the greatest rap albums ever. But also, if you know me, you know Mace is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and I have Mace ranked probably like in the I don't know, probably 10 to 20 range somewhere in there. But Mace was one of my favorite rappers as a kid first coming up. It was him, Biggie, Pac when I was a kid, as far as my favorite rappers. So I had the Harlem World over Illmatic, and everybody got all up in the tizzy and the frenzy and all that. Let me just say this. Is Harlem World objectively one of the best rap albums ever? No. Is Illmatic one of the best rap albums ever? Yes. Do I prefer to listen to Harlem World over Illmatic? 100%. 100%. This nigga hit me up last night. Matter of fact, this nigga called me. This nigga called me while I'm watching the Timberwolves and Thunder game. And then he sent me a text. He's like, yeah, about the. I'm like, bro, I'm watching the game right now. I'm about to get on the phone during the game to discuss that Harlem World Illmatic tweet. So I just want to go ahead and address that. Let niggas know, hey, I'm standing on what I said. I prefer Harlem World over Illmatic. And two things can be true, man. At the end of the day, music is subjective. It's all preference based, really. It's all about your preference, your personal preference. Nas, like I said, he's one of the greatest rappers to come through. He's not really my cup of tea as far as his discography and all that, but he has one, maybe probably even two of some of the greatest rap albums we ever seen come through a time. But when it comes to Mason at Harlem World, hey, and if you don't know about Mace, please do your research. When this nigga touched down in 1997, kicked down the doors. Was on everything, killing features, killing his own album. If you don't know about Harlem World, I suggest you go do your research, man. This nigga was blazing. But shout out my nigga Banks, man. I fuck with Banks. I got a link with this nigga. This nigga Banks is probably one of the craziest niggas that I know, man. Real talk. This nigga either needs to be, he told me he's gonna be an actor, so I support my dog and all his future endeavors, but this nigga really should be a stand-up comedian because that nigga is hilarious. I reading this nigga text like, bro, how did this nigga even come up with this sentence right here? Like, nigga's insane. But shout out to Mace, shout out to Nas, shout out to all the Nas fans, shout out if you a Mace fan, shout out to all the Mace fans, Harlem World, nigga. So I want to go ahead and kick this thing off this week. I want to discuss Joey Badass again. So Joey Badass kicking off this week again, man. We had some more disses come through. Joey Badass came with My Town featuring, I want to say Loaded Lux. And then he came with Crash Dummy, a diss to Rave On. And let me go ahead and say this because I've seen a lot of people tripping. We've had a lot of disses come through off the heels of this whole beef. Am I a fan of it? Yes, because it's showing rappers, again, putting their pen to paper, getting busy, doing the whole nine. I see a lot of people talking about, man, why are we still pretending that we care about this? Man, listen, at the end of the day, you don't have to enjoy this shit. You can just continue to scroll by, say what you want to say. Even if I'm not even gonna say don't say nothing on it. If you got an opinion on it, cool. But I feel like it does the game disservice because I think this is what we wanted to see from rap, like niggas being competitive. Now, people would say, "Oh man, we not trying to hear from these niggas though." Okay, cool. But I think we had some great disses come from this. Joey Badass got busy on My Town. Let me see. That was Loaded Lux that was on that. We had Loaded Lux on that one, and then he came back less than 48 hours with Crash Dummy. Now, Crash Dummy, in my opinion, he went ahead and smashed everybody. I think it was to a point now. If rappers from the West are still choosing to respond to Joey, hey, I think this point you just doing it just because you ain't got nothing else to do. But he killed it, man. In my opinion, Joey Badass Crash Dummy. He did the whole hit 'em up flip, and that was another thing I appreciated about this too. There was a few rappers who had the what's the word I'm looking for? The sense to take whatever coast that they diss and beat and flip it and make it their own diss. I'm surprised nobody from the West took Takeover and did a flip to that. Like I'm very surprised somebody from the West Coast didn't take that. Now somebody had a list on Twitter. I don't have the list. Somebody had a list on Twitter that said it was like 66 disses that came from this whole thing. That's kind of crazy. Of course, no, I didn't hit him. I was mainly focusing on Rayvon, Joey Badass, and Reason. But I say that to say that Joey Badass, he came out on top. He came out on top. You had a few of the cats from the East Coast who came out and tried to rap. J1, he had a couple of disses out. He had a diss called Bobby Mercer. I wasn't really feeling that too much. And then he got into it. He actually got into it with my dog Miko, who album I reviewed last week. And they got into a little back and forth. There was a couple of good disses. And I'm going to say that Miko went up 2 on that one too, though. But I think this was good for hip-hop. I think this was very, very good for hip-hop. It really showed dudes' versatility as far as they pen, they production, and the production. That was another thing that I thought was going to be lacking in this battle was the production. The productions was all good. I don't know who some of these producers were, but they got busy. That's all I can say about that. So salute to Joey Badass for coming out with Crash Dummy. He needs to go ahead and put that shit on streaming because I was listening to that all week. I could tell that he really sat down and he was prepared because you got to remember, The Rule Is Back came out in January. So I think he was prepped for this whole shit. I think he was locked into a studio. He was ready to get his pen working, hit up the producers, hey, I need you to be on call because we need to get this shit popping. And he came and delivered. I'm interested to see because he does have an album coming out in August. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So salute to Joey Badass. Now, another thing that I wanted to address, I wanted to talk about was this whole Kendrick thing and Joey Badass and does he need to reply? Me personally, I don't really care for Kendrick Lamar to reply to Joey Badass. I really don't care. Do I think he needs to? No. But we have to be honest about this conversation. History has shown that the elite rappers do punch down. Jay-Z punched down on Joe Budden. Tupac dissing Mobb Deep when they wasn't on this level. So we do know in history the upper tier rappers to punch down guys below them. And I do remember a lot of you niggas 2016 saying that Drake had to reply to Joe Budden. So all I want to know is what make this situation different. I'm not saying again, because a lot of y'all lack comprehension. I'm not saying that Kendrick has to reply to Joey Badass, nor do I care. But to act like as if it's above him is crazy when the same niggas I see saying, oh, no, he ain't on this level. You same niggas was saying in 2016 Drake had to reply to Joe Budden. When Joe Budden dropped 3 disses in a row, niggas say, oh, Drake's scared and all this other shit. So now this is just a sport of rap. Why can't Kendrick jump in the ring? Now, here's my prediction. I don't think Kendrick Lamar is going to reply to Joey Badass. That's number one. Number two, if he does reply to Joey Badass, we all know it's not going to be on Joey's time. We all know that. We all know how Kendrick Lamar moves. He's not going to do it while he's on tour. So you might as well go ahead and accept that. It's not going to happen while it's on tour. And also, it's going to be a time where it's going to be a bomb. We all know Kendrick, when it comes to dissing somebody or shocking people, it's always going to be when we least expect it. So I don't expect Kendrick Lamar, if he was to reply to Joey Badass, it's not going to be right after his tour. I'm thinking it might be some 2026 shit. So Joey, if you sitting waiting in the corner for Kendrick to come out, I don't think it's going to happen no time soon, dog. I really don't, because that's not how Kendrick operates. Kendrick has always operated on his own time. He lives for the shock value factor and all that. So it's not going to be nothing that we predict coming no time soon. But I did see that conversation on the TL, and I did find that very interesting. I'm like, hold up now. We do know rappers to punch down. That has always been a thing. Whether it be a bar, a few bars, a whole song, I'm not saying that he has to. Again, I'm not saying Kendrick has to because I really don't care for him to do it. But it's definitely not above him to get back at Joey Badass, especially if Joey Badass is asking for it. You get what I'm saying? So Yeah, y'all, you will be being very disingenuous if you saying that nah, you can't do it. Especially if you were saying Drake had to reply to Joe Budden in 2016, and I remember that was a crazy time on the TL in 20. I wasn't really on Twitter, so I was really more so following on Facebook at the time and on Instagram. And Joe Budden was locked and loaded, just like Joey Badass was. Now, granted, understand there's probably a little bit more personals when it came to Joe and Drake. We all know their history. It's all crazy, but Joe had them disses lined up. Joey seems like he's doing it for the sport, and that's what I respect the most. There hasn't really been no anything that's way out of pocket. Like, all right, bro, like this is going past rap now. No, this has been a great battle. I've enjoyed it. Again, salute the Ravon, salute the Reason, salute the Joey Badass, salute to all the other rappers who threw their hat in the ring. Now there was a couple other guys from the West Coast who stepped up too, but I wasn't really feeling them too much. AZ Chike, if I'm saying that correctly. If not, my apologies, brother. I'm not purposely trying to mess up nobody's name. Definitely not trying to do that. But he also stepped up and he threw his hat in the ring. I wasn't really feeling that. Joey just cleaned up all you niggas on the West Coast. That's all I'm gonna say. He cleaned up all you niggas. And you niggas need to step it the fuck up if you want to continue to do this. But at this point, I feel like it's a wash. It's a wash. I don't hear nothing that's topping Crash Dummy. Crash Dummy by far is the best diss to come out of this whole thing. I'm seeing a couple of y'all burnt out. You saying, man, what is it that we gonna get from this? But also, you have to remember too, Joey Badass probably just looks at Kendrick Lamar as a peer because we have to remember Joey Badass came around that blog era too. No, he didn't blow up to be as big as Kendrick, Cole, and Drake, but he did come out in that time frame. Took a step back, had a couple of mixtapes, didn't really have no groundbreaking albums. So yes, of course, level wise, that's why they all set. But from his perspective, he probably looking like shit. We all came in around the same time, nigga. Like, I'm here. So again, if Kendrick wants to step up and rap and do it, cool. If not, that's fine too. But let's not move the goalposts. Let's not move the goalposts. So again, salute to all of them. And I'm interested to see what Joey does on his album because he hasn't had an album since 2000. That came out 2019 or 2020. And that was a pretty good album. And the production on there was pretty good. That was a very, very good album. I want to salute Joey for that 2000 album because that was real good. Of course, that's off the play off his famous mixtape 1999 that came out 2013, 12, I believe. So again, man, he's been, like I said, I sung his praises last week. I'm gonna sing him again this week. He's been having a great year, doing this thing on TV, of course. So salute to him for getting everybody's pen working and wanting to get in the studio and do their thing. But that one man took down an entire coast, in my opinion. So I don't know if y'all got to call up, I don't know, Tyler Creator, Kendrick. I don't really want to see Game get involved. That's this nigga like 45, and I fuck with Game. Game, one of my favorite rappers, but I feel like this is a battle that he don't need to insert himself in. So moving on next, I wanted to talk about this because this is weird and it's very trash. It's very, very, very trash, and I feel like a lot of people be finding this shit funny, and to me, it's not funny. So, Bossman D, man, he was getting exposed for messing with transsexual, and he was exposed by the transsexual. And all I want to say is, what happened to a time where whatever your sexual encounters with people just became sacred, stayed sacred? I mean, everybody chasing clout, everybody chasing attention, everybody want to be the first to say something, everybody want to be the first to expose somebody when they get in their feelings. That shit is lame. At the end of the day, I don't care what these rappers do, these entertainers do, these actors do. I don't care what nobody do with nobody. That's none of my business. That's none of my business. And hopefully this doesn't become a continuous trend of rather it be because you and your feelings about something or they was disrespectful that you get to exposing what people do in the bedroom. That shit is just lame and weird. And I don't think there should be no room for that at all. I don't care what field it is. At the end of the day, whatever you do in your bedroom is your bedroom, and that shit needs to remain sacred. There'd be a lot of times where we come across, now granted, sometimes it'd be the rappers themselves or the celebrities themselves exposing themselves, but most of the times, it seems to be the person they're involved with trying to gain attention, trying to get acknowledgement, trying to go viral. That shit is just whack. It's not cool, and I feel like what is it to gain, in my opinion? Because if anything, it just make you look bad. that just goes to show, because we all know this is why also this paints to the narrative of why entertainers, rappers, and athletes all mess with the same circle. Because most of the time, I feel like it's a trade-off. Yeah, you mess with the same circle, but they going to keep their mouth shut. You get somebody who don't really have no followers, is not really notable on social media. They're excited. It gets their blood, get their blood flowing. That dopamine is hitting. So, oh, shit, such and such in my DM, or such and such met up for me for a date. Oh, this happened and all this happened. So this is why they choose to deal with the circle that they choose to deal with. So I did want to speak on that, because I thought that was it was lame as hell. And I feel like it wasn't really no room for that. It really wasn't. So please move smarter when it comes to stuff like that. So another big pillar fell in the Sean Diddy Combs case. So Kid Cudi took the stand this week, and everybody was locked in terms of this and what was going on. There was a lot of course, laughing points in terms of this. And honestly, I'm gonna say this after what I seen, and I'm gonna read some of this, but I don't feel Kid Cudi was really necessary for this case. Again, this is a sex trafficking case, mainly sex trafficking and racketeering. We all know Diddy is abusive. We know that to be true. We don't need to debate about that. There's nothing to discuss in terms of that. We all know that this guy is abusive, and if he was on trial for that, it would be an open shut case. Nothing to discuss. But I don't really feel like Kid Cudi added nothing to this case. I really don't. Just reading some of this. Kid Cudi took the stand Thursday for Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial after his name was brought up during multiple testimonies from other witnesses. Let me see. So AUSA, what was Mr. Combs doing? Standing there like a Marvel supervillain. He said, "We're homies. You know that's my girl." AUSA said, "What did you say?" "I thought you had broken up." Then Sean Combs offered me some water. It was weird, Sean Combs being so calm. What did Cassie say? Cudi said that we had fallen in love, things happen. What did you say to Mr. Combs? What about my car? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I walked away. So that's referring to Kid Cudi finding his car on fire when he came home one day. So they asked him, they said, what was your understanding of where the Molotov cocktail was found by law enforcement? In the driver's seat. I think you mentioned this, but was your car able to be repaired? He said, no. What was your reaction to your car being set on fire? What the fuck? Mrs. Steele, objection. That's overruled and all that. So that was a big takeaway from this whole thing about his car being set on fire. The relationship that he had with Cassie, they asked him about that as well. So Steele asked Cudi, Miss Fan told you it was over. We just stopped talking, he said. Steele, you told this honorable court and this jury that she played you? Cudi said, yes. Steele, she played you and you had no clue? Cudi said, no clue. Combs' attorney Steele said, but she never said she was sexually abused, true? Cudi, she did not. Steele, you loved her? Tell me if I'm wrong. Cudi said, I did. Steele, you got played by the same person who played Mr. Combs. Cassie returned. I think objection came in after that. So I think what they're trying to do is paint Puff as so much of an abuser that can sway the jury as to why this sex trafficking thing and racketeering thing plays in the fact, because sex trafficking can be has the guidelines of using force. What else? You can have force, harassment, all the whole nine. Same thing as I said last week. But I think they're trying to paint him as so much of an abuser that can sway the jury and find a guilty verdict. Now, me, in my opinion, based off of Cassie's testimony, I think they have enough to find him guilty. Simple the fact that he was purchasing escorts, flying them across state lines. That's illegal. We all know that to be illegal. So I think they will find him guilty. But, of course, we all know we can't avoid. The biggest thing has them been trying to paint him as an abuser. With Kid Cudi's testimony, I don't think it really adds too much. I think it's pretty much the same thing as Dawn. Is just a little bit. It's gonna have more attention just for the simple fact that it's Kid Cudi. His car got set on fire, and that was the biggest takeaway. There was another one. There was another person that also took the stand that I found interesting. Was Cassie's mother, Regina. revealed that she took out a home equity loan to pay Diddy $20,000, which he allegedly demanded for a sex tape of Cassie after finding out about her dating Kid Cudi. This ties into Kid Cudi. Later, she testified that she wired the money to Diddy and it was returned to her account within 4 or 5 days. Now that's just crazy. That's insane. That also can sway the jury into finding a guilty verdict. That's just diabolical. That's insane. And if they definitely have proof of that, like I don't see how he comes out victorious in this at all. This trial is supposed to last, I think, another. I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks. I want to say it want to last about another 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll see how this goes. Also, another thing that hit the timeline that stems off this Kid Cudi thing. This whole Kid Cudi being a snitch thing. Young Thug, he put out a tweet. And ever since Thug has been home, he needs to just go ahead and let somebody else handle his social media accounts. Because this is getting ridiculous. At this point, put the phone down, get in the studio, work on your music. Because I haven't heard no groundbreaking music since you've been back. Not even nothing that's really good. So Thug needs to sit the phone down and go ahead and focus on the music. So Thug put out a tweet that said, oh, Cudi snitching. Bruh, Kid Cudi's not snitching on nothing. He's not a street dude. This is not that type of case. That's not even his persona. That's never been his personality. Kid Cudi is a rapper, musician, an artist who does have no street ties. Has nothing to do with what you talking about, Thug. That doesn't even fall under the guidelines. And you niggas up here co-signing what Thug got to say, you niggas is 35 years old having this debate, man. What are we doing? None of you niggas is street niggas. I'm not even saying that I'm a street nigga. I just know what Kid Cudi did has nothing to do with no snitching. That man is a civilian. And if somebody set my car on fire and they call me to come to trial and talk and testify about that, yes, I'm going up there and having that same conversation. We're going to discuss that. Sorry. So I did see that come across the timeline. I don't know what the fuck Young Thug is talking about or why he felt the need to say that. But dog, you got other issues and you on probation. So you need to be mindful about what you tweeting, dog, and just focus on the music. Cause Kid Cudi is nowhere near what you talking about. Kid Cudi, again, is just a regular rapper, a regular musician. He don't got no street ties and none of that at all. But I did see that. I'm like, bro, because everybody was like, oh, Thug fucking up. He don't know his time. So, sure enough, tweet deleted, of course, because you know when somebody deletes some shit, that just make the tweet even more funnier. So, yeah, that was just ridiculous. I don't even know what the hell he thought even saying some shit like that. Yeah, Thug got some other stuff that he need to be worrying about. So I don't know any more witnesses that are supposed to be coming across this trial or coming up soon. I don't know what else they may need. Like I said last week, I think they pretty much got what they need to convict him and get a guilty verdict. But I say that to say it's going to be curtains for Diddy. I know a lot of y'all, I've seen a lot of the conversation saying that, they just keep talking about he's abusive, but you have to remember sex trafficking. And there was a picture that leaked of all the escorts that they hired. If he was paying those guys and flying them across state lines, that's enough to find a guilty verdict. If somebody can prove me wrong, please tell me, please show me. I don't mind being wrong, but I'm pretty sure that falls under the guidelines of sex trafficking. I'm sorry. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as that. So I wanted to talk about this next because I remember this was a topic earlier this year, and I want to tie this into another conversation about your digital footprint. So this white woman, Hannah G. Cobb, was not charged for killing her boyfriend, Telvin Osborne. This happened back in January. I think he was killed by a gunshot. There was reports surrounding that he was abusive. I don't know exactly how he was killed, but I think it was a gunshot. And it sparked a lot of talk and conversations on the TL around the time. We all know we live in the social media internet world now. That's just what it is. Your digital footprint matters. So when this killing happened, the first thing everybody did was go run and find his tweets. What did they find in these tweets? Black women hate tweets, saying all type of wild stuff. I don't want to repeat it on here because it's just unnecessary. It was a lot of self-hate tweets, a lot of derogatory, disrespectful tweets towards black women, all of that. how he loves white women so much. You know, he don't got time to be messing with no black women. If it ain't white, it ain't right, that whole thing. So when this happened, everybody pretty much, and I only follow really mostly black people on Twitter. Everybody from, man, basically fuck that nigga. Now, I can't be mad when people have that, basically they come to that conclusion for somebody based off your digital footprint. People could try to hide under the guise of, oh, you know, it's just Twitter, just social media. That shit ain't real. It's 100% real, bro. We way past that. Your thoughts, 9 times out of 10, is what you believe. It's a fine line between trolling and being a weirdo. It's a fine line between trolling and being a weirdo. Most of the times, what you tweet is what you believe. And that shit will follow you for the rest of your life. The internet is forever. Your digital footprint is so important. So I know his family might have felt some type of way because they wasn't getting the support. But at the end of the day, if your son had these type of tweets, he wasn't going to get the support. That just is what it is. Then when this new news hit the timeline yesterday, it was like, hey, it is what it is, dog. So there be a lot of self-hate niggas out here. A lot of self-hate niggas out here. So when it comes out and you get killed by another race, your digital footprint, most of the time, is going to factor in the support that you get. That's just where we are in the world. That's what we've come to. At the end of the day, your digital footprint matters 100%. I'm going to stress that shit so much to my niece and my nephew. Your digital footprint will follow you everywhere. You have to be mindful about what you say. You can lose your job because of social media. You could lose out on opportunities because of social media. You can get killed because of social media. You could get hurt because of social media. But also on the flip side, you can gain relationships because of social media. You can get life-changing opportunities because of social media. You can get more money because of social media. All of that matters. This is not 1999, 2000 when the internet was just some corner of the room type shit. Nah, this shit is affecting everyday life on a daily basis. It's constantly evolving every day. And a lot of companies, if you go through their code of conduct, social media presence falls under that. You can lose your job because of shit that you say, because soon the number one thing people are going to do is go find out where you work at. And as soon as they find out where you go work at, they hitting your job up. If that shit becomes too big, job got to be like, hey, listen, we got to let you go. We can't be having this on. We can't allow this. We can't have this going on. So your digital footprint 100% matters. I really don't got no sympathy for dog, honestly, because some of what he was saying was just egregious, and it's no room for that. It's no room for that at all. So she ended up not getting charged for that. They're saying there's a possibility of her. Let me pull this up because I want to be accurate in what I'm saying. So let me see. The suspect in a Burke County fatal shooting won't be facing charges. A grand jury has decided. District Attorney Jerry Williams told News 12 on Friday that a grand jury returned a no bill for Hannah G. Cobb, who was arrested February 25th on the charge of felony involuntary manslaughter in connection with the fatal shooting of her boyfriend Telvin Osborne. The case was presented to a grand jury on April 24th, but the grand jury decided not to pursue formal charges. That doesn't necessarily mean formal charges can't be filed later, but Williams appears inclined to follow the grand jury's lead. As the grand jury has spoken, the case is closed, he said in a statement. The Burke County Sheriff's Office is bracing for possible trouble as a result of the grand jury's decision. The agency posted Facebook late Friday. We are aware of rumors circulating on social media regarding potential rioting in Waynesboro tonight, following the grand jury's decision to issue a no bill in case involving Hannah Cobb and death of Telvin Osborne. It is important to understand that the grand jury is a legal body tasked with hearing all evidence presented in a case before reaching a decision. While we recognize that this outcome may be upsetting or unpopular to some, we strongly urge everyone to refrain from actions that could further harm our community. So yeah, man, that's where we at. That's where they at with it. And like I said, me personally, I don't have no sympathy for Dog. And I understand those who had the comments that they had to say about him. He obviously didn't care when he was tweeting what he was. And this wasn't just like a one-all tweet. This man had a series of tweets. Like series. It was that insane. It was that insane. And honestly, it's just no room for that. And that's just what I'm not surprised. I mean, she white for number one, so I didn't see nothing coming from that anyway. But I do remember that was definitely like around December or January when all this happened. So yeah, definitely not surprised. Definitely not surprised when it comes to that. But I say that to say, man, your digital footprint matters. Be mindful. It's the difference between trolling and being weird. Just remember that. It's the difference between trolling and being weird. It's a fine line. Find your line. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that people be saying, especially when it's consistent. I notice when somebody has a trend of walking on a certain subject, they believe that shit. You not playing. You dead ass with that. You 100% believe that. So next up, we got, this is crazy. We got Papoose and Remy Ma. Papoose, and you know what's so crazy about this Papoose and Remy Ma shit? Papoose and Remy Ma at one time was like quote unquote gold. This is why I always say you don't know these people at the end of the day. For at least a decade plus, they was like the blueprint of what black love should look like. Everybody was saying, oh, goals this, goals that. Look how Papoose does this. Look how Papoose does that. Look how Remy did this. Look how Remy does that. Bro, at the end of the day, you're not in these people's household. People change. Circumstances could change. Or they could have been this way the whole time behind closed doors. At the end of the day, we don't know these people. And you always have to be mindful of that. Always carry that when you see, because at the end of the day, y'all be fighting for celebrities harder than they fight for themselves. What I seen come from this is corniness on both sides. Remy Ma and Papoose for one reason and one reason only. Addressing this shit on the internet. Motherfuckers is loading up 15-minute lives, 18-minute lives. I think Papoose had a 9-minute live. Remy come back the next day like it's a fucking rap battle. A rap battle about real life shit that your kids gonna have to see one day. Kids watch it in real time, because I know Remy got a son that's like 20-something years old. They got a young daughter that's like probably 6-5 years old, and they probably got another child in between, teenager, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, again, the internet is forever. I just said this a few minutes ago. Why are you fighting your personal battles between each other online? Handle that shit in person, man. Nobody trying to see that. Take us out the group chat. And I never thought, just based off their track record, that we would see this. But at the end of the day, you just never know when it comes to people. Papoose and Remy Ma saying, oh, he pawned this, and Papoose saying, oh, she cheated on me by sleeping with girls and all. Like, bro, who gives a fuck? Nobody cares about that shit. Keep that shit off the internet. Nobody care about that. Go handle y'all family affairs in private, bro. Because all it's doing is exposing corniness and continue to paint that narrative of y'all not being able to handle y'all shit accordingly. That's all it's doing. Just exposing the corny. And like I said, I'm not giving a pass for nobody. Papoose is corny. Remy Ma is corny. Nobody's trying to see that, dog. And at the end of the day, you're really just affecting your kids. And I think a lot of the times people don't understand that you're not, it's just not about you. You have other people that affects your family members. Even if you don't got kids, you got a mama, you got a grandfather. They don't want to have to be walking around and be like, yeah, that's such and such. You know, they son wild, or they grandson wild, or your nephew did this, or your uncle did that. Like, come on, bro. It's not just about you. That's a very selfish mindset to have when you go on social media and you do shit like that. That was just very weird. And it just came out of nowhere. I don't even know where that shit came from. And also, like, people got to be mindful. Even if you in a new relationship, your partner should even be involved in what y'all got going on. Remy and Papoose have kids together. Carisha, I'm not saying she's saying nothing about the kids, but bro, don't even be involved in that. You sending out tweets. That's corny. So all parties involved who are well above 30 years old, Remy and Pap in their 40s. Carisha, I think she like 30 years old. All parties involved are corny, bro, because at the end of the day, it don't accomplish nothing. What are you accomplishing by acting like that? You're not doing nothing to help the case. So I hope we don't see no more of this. And in my opinion, they're going to do all this and probably just get back together, in my opinion. That's all they're going to do. They're going to do all this just to get back together. That's all they're going to do. It's stupid. It's weird. It's corny. And Papoose and Remy Ma, they need to just stop, bro. Stop. You exposing all of this, and it's not doing nothing. Do what you do in private and handle your matters offline. So, since last week, we had the conference semifinals wrap up. The Thunder absolutely destroyed the fucking Denver Nuggets in that Game 7. Salute to Aaron Gordon for going out there and played on a grade 2 hamstring, at least trying to play. You know, he did the best that he could. Joker went out bad again. Back-to-back years in the Game 7, Joker basically laid a dud. Now, I did have the Thunder winning that game, but I had Joker at least performing to a level to where he basically laid it all out on the line, and he didn't. He was getting harassed and basically stopped by Alex Caruso. Just a terrible game. He only shot the ball, I think, Let me see, because I want to be accurate, and that's one thing I want to be. I want to be accurate. I want to make sure I get nobody's numbers messed up. None of that. I don't want to mess up nobody's numbers. I want to make sure I'm accurate about this. So Joker only shot the ball 9 times. That's unacceptable for somebody who I revere as a top 2 center of all time. He has to come back better next year. 100%. That's just inexcusable to shoot the ball 9 times, especially knowing that Aaron Gordon is not playing how he's supposed to be playing. MPJ, he been a shell of himself. And it's a game 7. You've been in game 7s before, and you have performed to an elite level. So this is back-to-back years. Joker having a bad game. Yeah, you're going to have to redeem yourself next year. You're definitely going to have to redeem yourself. Getting knocked out in that fashion. And again, it's not really so much about the win-loss. It's about how you go out. So for you to shoot the ball 9 times, unacceptable. But I want to credit the Thunder for going and handling business. Also, SGA, he won MVP, his first MVP. I want to salute SGA for winning his MVP. Well-deserved. For me, it wasn't a conversation probably since about February, I want to say. You know, of course, there was rumblings about, oh, y'all want to give Joker the MVP, bruh. He was leading. And if you look at the voting results, it was never close. Like, he pretty much cleaned up house when it came to the MVP. He had a great year, 66 wins. It was pretty much open door shut. Nothing you could do. Average of 32, 2 steals a game, 5 assists. High efficiency, shooting like 56% from the floor, something like that. 50% from the floor, something like that. So salute to SGA for winning the MVP. First MVP since guard to win MVP since James Harden in 2018. So salute to SGA for that. We had also, what was another series we had wrap up? Pacers handled the Cavs something serious. Handled them something serious. The Knicks took care of business in 6 against the Celtics. And the Wolves had been waiting. They was waiting for the winner of the Thunder and the Nuggets Game 7 finals. So salute to those teams for getting to the conference finals. So the conference finals is here. And I'm going to say this because they already getting on me on TikTok and YouTube. I had the Knicks winning this series in 6. And these niggas dropped 2 games at home. They basically are the bosses. They basically did what they did to Boston. Dropped 2 games at home. And that's insane. But I want to salute Tyrese Halliburton. Because I am a Tyrese Halliburton fan. I've been a fan of his for about, I want to say 2 going on 3 years now. And he did kind of have like a down year last year coming off an injury. And I always want to provide some guys grace when they have injuries because it's hard to snap back like that from an injury when it's of that low. I think he had a real bad leg injury or something like that. And prior to the season before, he had an all-NBA season. So I want to salute Tyrese Halliburton, man, for absolutely being one of the best players, if not the best player in the playoffs this year so far. Insane what he's been doing. I think the Pacers have at least 3 games this year when they've been down by 15 or more and come back to win a game. That's just ridiculous. Officially shooting the ball well, passing the ball well. Tyrese Halliburton is just putting on a clinic. He's been putting on a clinic, and I can't say nothing. It's nothing to say really than to just give dog his props, man. You can't do nothing but salute that. This guy has been putting on a clinic, and they can't seem to do nothing with him. And you know what's so funny about the Indiana Pacers is their pace is insane. It don't matter if you score on them. They are right down on the opposite side in like 3 seconds. I literally seen him play with Jalen Brunson hit a layup. Them boys inbound the ball so quick, shoot it to Toppin, hit it back to Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton hit right back to Toppin, boom, layup. I'm like, what the fuck is these niggas on right now, dog? I'm like, these niggas is going insane. If you look at it, Tyrese Halliburton, he's averaging 9 assists per game. Pascal Siakam, shout out to Pascal Siakam. He averaging 20 on 50% shooting right now. It's looking crazy for the Knicks right now. I did have the Knicks win this in 6, but I think the Pacers about to get them out of here in 5, and they're going to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 2000. And you can't do nothing but salute that. I would hope that Tyrese Halliburton's father, senior, can get back into the arena. I don't think that he should be able to sit courtside because you still got to have some level of discipline when it comes to that. I do think that, I won't say this series, but I think if they make the NBA Finals, he should be able at least to get back into a suite. I think he's learned his lesson. We did see the viral video of him in the bar having a great old time watching his son handle business. So I want to salute Tyrese Halliburton Sr. for taking care of business. And as far as the West Coast, the Western Conference Finals, the Minnesota Timberwolves handled business on Sunday. Waxed them, put up 103 points, most points they scored and in a playoff game period. So I want to salute to them. Salute to them for that because it was looking ugly. The Thunder went up 2-0 and everybody was calling for sweep. I don't see sweep, but I still am picking the Wolves to win this series. I'm not selling my stock on the Wolves yet. I do think they are capable of handling business. They just had to lock down more defensively, hit more of their shots. Anthony Edwards has had an historical season from three. Only Klay Thompson and Steph Curry has had a better season from three. And when you think about that, that's kind of insane for Ant, who can score the ball multiple ways. And we all know as you get older in this game, you want to have a good shot. That's how you extend your career. It's gonna come a time where you can't always get to the basket. Your athleticism won't be able to save you. So I wanna give Ant his props for that because he took a tremendous leap in his 3-point percentage this year. He went from shooting, I think, 30, I want to say probably 36, 35 to shooting like 40, 41. And that's when you getting above 40% from three, that's alien type shit. So I want to salute to them for that. But they definitely handled business in that last game, game 3. The niggas put up 143 points. Let me go ahead and run through this. Anthony Edwards had 30 points. I don't even think them niggas played. I don't think the starters played the whole game, to be honest. Anthony Edwards had 30 points. Julius Randle had a bounce back game. He had 24 points. Mike Conley, he added 6, but he was more so, making sure everybody was doing what they doing as far as being a floor general. Also, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he had a good game. And also, I want to shout out Terrence Shannon Jr., man. He had a good game. Shout out to Chris Finch for having us to put a rookie in a crucial Game 3 playoff game. That takes a lot of guts, bro. Terrence Shannon Jr., which I am a fan of, he had 15 points. He came out in the first quarter. It was very, very aggressive. So I'm interested to see what type of adjustments OKC has in the Game 4 because we all know Game 4 is that swing game. That really is going to determine who has, lock control on this series. Game 4. We all know when it comes to them Game 3s and you down 0-2 going back home, which Minnesota was, you pretty much want to put your, move your chips to the center of the table as far as that home team handling the business because it's basically do or die. The Thunder, they came out, got punched in the mouth. They had no answers from jump. This game was over in the first quarter, in my opinion. At the end of the first quarter, the score was like 34-14. That was the least points the Thunder have scored in the playoffs all year. 14 points. So they locked in defensively. Rudy Gobert looked like he was more active on the glass. Julius Randle, he was more aggressive as far as trying to get points, getting rebounds. That's really all they need because, again, I was one of the people who shitted on the Knicks and Timberwolves trade between Cat and Randle, and I did not think Julius Randle was going to be a great fit for Minnesota. And what happened? They got right back to the Western Conference Finals like they did last year. So I would definitely want to give him his props. I want to give Julius Randle his props. I was wrong about that trade. In my opinion, both parties won that trade. I know the Knicks are down. They down right now. We'll probably see, by the time this episode is out, Game 3 has already been played. So I have to wait to see how they respond as far as that. But I definitely want to give Julius Randle his props. I do still have the Wolves winning this series, and I gotta give up on the Knicks. I'm sorry. You going down 2-0, going on the road. There's only the last team to be down 0-2 going on the road and winning the series was actually it was the Boston Celtics against my Chicago Bulls in 2017. We went up 2-0 on the road, 2017. It was the first round. We was the 8th seed. We went to Boston, took the first 2 games, and they won 4 straight on us. So the Knicks are capable. They just got to lock in. But I got the Pacers taking this in 5. I really do. I think the Pacers I didn't understand how lethal their offense was until I seen them first 2 games. I don't think there's a team that could really keep up with them as far as that pace. That pace is insane. And their bench play is way better. I think they play 9 guys deep. That's rare when it comes to NBA playoffs. The most you're playing is about 7, 8. These guys are playing 9 deep. I want to shout out to TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell has been playing outstanding basketball. Campaign can't match him as far as production. I kind of understand why Tom Thibodeau be playing his starters a lot of the time because he's not cutting it. So I definitely want to give props to TJ McConnell for handling business, doing his thing. And ultimately, the Pacers, they run it with momentum. For you to take 2 games on the road, and the conference finals at that, this ain't the first round, this ain't the second round. For you to take the first 2 games on the road, and also I want to give props to Pascal Siakam. I have been critical of him in the past, not really looking at him as, I still think he's just a good player, but he has elevated his play. He's been playing great in these playoffs so far. He dropped 39 last game. So I definitely want to salute Pascal Siakam for handling business. I don't know what Cat got going on, but he need to hurry up and handle his business because Pascal Siakam is doing him all type of crazy right now. That was insane. I want to actually go back and look at exactly what his full stat line was because I looked at I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, so he was 15 and 23, 39 points, 3 of 5 and 3, 5 rebounds, 3. Yeah, Pascal Siakam was just going crazy. They have an even level of production as far as his team. So Aaron Naismith, he had 12 points. Shout out to him. I didn't know he was from Charleston. He went to Portugal. Shout out to Aaron Naismith. Miles Turner added 16 points. Nemhard added 12. Tyrese Halliburton had 14, 11, and 8. Very efficient, well balanced. Obi Toppin, he's more so like of a energy guy. He didn't really have too much of a great stat line. TJ McConnell, 10 points, 4 assists. And TJ McConnell also, he has a play that doesn't show up in the stat sheet. Kind of like Alex Caruso type. So, but he can light it up from 3 if you need to. So I want to shout out the Pacers. I want to give them props. I've been 100% wrong. 100% wrong for the jump about this whole series. I definitely had the Knicks taking this shit at 6, but it's looking like it's about to be Pacers. It's about to be Pacers, man. They gonna handle business, man. They're gonna handle business. So I'm interested to see how this wraps up as well. So that's pretty much all I got for this week. Again, I want to thank y'all for kicking it with me on this Monday, continuing to take this new journey for me. 3 episodes in, about to hit 5 soon. Before I look up, I'm going to be at 15. So definitely want to thank y'all for kicking it with me. Please be safe on this Memorial Day. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Good music, good food, good vibes. And also, don't let the little things get to you. Please don't let the little things get to you. That's something that I pray about every day, actually. And I kind of caught myself lacking last week. Something happened at work, and I really let it get the best of me. And I kind of reacted in a manner that wasn't really necessary, even though what I was saying was true. I even had people come to me and tell me the next day what I said was true. But I probably could have delivered it a little bit better. But don't let the little things get to you and deter your internal progression. I'm speaking more so internally because yes, we're going out here physically working, getting the work that needs to be done. We're hitting goals on that end, but internally we need to make sure that we're meeting those goals as well. So please make sure we're not letting the little things. That's my message for y'all this week. Don't let the little things get to you. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell somebody about it, retweet it, share it in Instagram stories, whatever the case may be. It don't cost nothing to support and let somebody know about it. Also, I want to shout out my dog, Ev. Shout out my dog, Ev from Facts and Stacks. He's been doing this thing. He reached out to me recently on tips on how to, get it pumping as far as putting out YouTube shorts, TikTok videos, and all that. And I want to give my dog props because he's up every day during the week, 11 a.m. to provide a show on Twitter Spaces and on Playback and on YouTube. So I want to salute my dog. He been doing this thing strong for I want to say about 4 or 5 years now. So I want to salute the Ev and Fastest Stats and everybody else who out here doing their thing. So again, please like, subscribe, share, tell somebody about this. This is I'm Not Repeating Myself podcast. And I hope you heard what I said the first time because I'm not repeating myself. I'm out.